Welcome back to Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, episode 41. Be cool to have the graphics of the actual start of the show on as a video at the start of this, but then I think the videos would get banned, right? So it's bad
Maybe.
enough, I guess we use the song. So anyway, welcome
just
back. What's that?
They can just look at our faces for an extra 50 seconds, you know?
Yeah,
whatever.
Looking around, like try to get prepared here. Welcome back, everybody, to Watching the Throne, our Game of Thrones kind of overview, review, rewatch show. I'm rewatching it for the first time. JT, of course, is watching the show for the first time, and of course, we always have some guests on with us every now and then, and we have a returning guest, Christina. How you doing? The Witch in the Woods here.
I'm good. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah,
in a while.
That's up. Yeah, it has been actually. Yeah,
I think while.
Start of season 4, I guess, was the last time you came on. Maybe I think it was the first.
Was it season 3?
Was it the end of season 3? We haven't
had. It was definitely the end of season 3. I don't think I was on for season 4
at all for season 4. Oh wow, so we got a lot to catch up on then, if that's the case. Yeah, because I think yeah, you're right. I think you were on majority of season 3. You were on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, welcome back. Thanks for joining us once again on this this journey. We like to mix it up here, as I mentioned, and we actually. It's one person who's watched it, who's rewatching it first time. JT's the person who's watching it for the first time, and of course we get a super fan involved here. Christina has seen it many a times here. Like it seems like that's kind of like what we try to do with the guest that comes on, or someone is gonna basically outstat us, Meister stats over here.
Yeah, I've watched it too many times to count. I don't even know what number, 6, 7. I don't know, something like that.
So would you say we are in the sweet spot of the series right now? Is this like prime time, like best moments of the we obviously ending out season 3 the way we did, like we talked about when we had you on season 4, which I thought was a really good season as well. But then, the more I hear about it, other than some like standout episodes, I think from season 3 and 4, from what I keep hearing now that I've been looking into Game of Thrones more as we've been recording this show, is 5 and 6 are probably regarded as the best seasons of the show, actually, over 3 and 4, even because of everything that gets built up moving into these ones, right? Would you say this is this one of your favorite seasons, or if not your favorite season 5 or 6?
This, I think maybe 6, 6, but this is like, because I think at this point when it was airing like live or as it came out, episodes came out, this was definitely like when fandom had kind of peaked. Like if you were a Game of Thrones fan, like you were a Game of Thrones, like now you were definitely in it, you were invested, you were having your watch parties, you were like totally in it. So like you're in it. You're in it. Yeah,
I'm in the thick of it. I can feel that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I can feel that part.
We're at the hump of the series. Like we're halfway.
Yeah, we're at the halfway. Yeah, we're actually past. I mean, technically, in terms of episodes, we're past it, but in terms of the seasons, because I know those last 2 are shortened. Yeah, we're halfway point right now.
Yeah.
And
the arc. It's at the peak.
Yeah, the character
it's at the peak, bro. Everything is at the peak, man. It's like, what the fuck's gonna happen next?
Just steep decline from here, Jay. No, I'm kidding.
This point, actually, something she mentioned before you jumped on the screen here with us, Jay. It actually, like, they're kind of reshuffling the deck chairs a little bit here once again in this season, and I think even at the start of the season, you're kind of seeing that. Honestly, 2 episodes in, you don't even touch on everybody from the last season as of yet. There's actually some characters, storylines that they haven't even revisited that since we've left them in season 4, right? Like, there's a lot of questions still going on. Did the Hound survive? What happened to Davos? Not Davos. Jorah Mormont when he got kicked out of Marine there, right? Like we haven't seen some of these people as of yet, right? So like whether or not we are going to
Tariq.
maybe, yeah, Reek.
What about the Boltons? You know,
Right.
like we don't know what's happening over there.
I forgot about Reek. We haven't seen them at all. We haven't seen them for the first 2 episodes of this season, which I should mention, guys. Make sure to tune in for the next one. Christina is going to be a guest on episode 2 of this season as well with us. Yeah, we haven't seen any of these people, which is pretty crazy. That it seems like the focus is actually more on like only a few people in these first 2 episodes. Like the scenes are longer, I find, instead of bouncing around to like several different storylines that they did like constantly in the last couple of seasons, right? So
I feel like they're getting the time jumping a little better by now. I feel like I don't know. I noticed it doesn't seem like it's taking forever to do certain things. You're getting, to the point, and they're kind of like although it's not going to take them that long to get there, let's just hurry it up. It's easy to move them across the board that quick, if so to say.
Yeah, they're definitely like by this point, like just to play off of what Nico was saying earlier, they've definitely found their groove and their stride in terms of production, and I think like this is like it's just great. The whole show is great, but like it's just great from here on out. So you're really in for it.
I mean, I enjoy it every time. Like I feel like where we started off slow, even rewatching these shows and coming here and talking about them, now I just kind of knock them out like very quickly and very easily. Like, now that we've kind of got like a better routine down about kind of taking notes and pulling the information from certain places that kind of assist in that manner. Yeah, it's actually been, I'm really looking forward to every time we do this now, just because I know this is the high point, let's say, of the whole show right now. So, and having not revisited it since the first time it aired, it's been a lot of fun. So today we're talking about the episode The Wars to Come, season 5, episode 1, of course. And before we start, though, overall thoughts on this episode, Christina?
I enjoyed this. Well, I enjoyed, again, it was just like it's a reset. I read somewhere that I think it was DB Weiss had said when he was interviewed about season 5, he said it was kind of like a reset for all the characters. So it's like, with Tywin now gone, things are changing faster and it's more unpredictable as to who holds the power, and it's just more exciting. So
more
I
vicious,
enjoyed, yeah, I enjoyed this like episode because it's just setting it up. Like it's just another setup for what's to come. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I feel like it's it's kind of like it's a more free for all right now, because nobody really knows who they're following or what's going on or who the fuck is, so that's what I'm getting from it, at least.
What's going to happen next? Like the anxiety or the anticipation, like what's happening? Like what's going to happen next? I don't know. Like,
yeah,
and a little bit of like real life situations coming in a sense of like power and stuff like that. When you have to take control of stuff. I've noticed that already in these 2 episodes, right? Like you said, power shifts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think people's allegiances to each other, they're actually getting bigger now, because everyone is kind of, there's less people that they're aligning themselves with, let's say, because we've already gone through a bunch of people now that are not going to become king because they got executed essentially at this point, right? And so everyone's really trying to find who to follow now, it seems like, right? I mean, with kind of what they allude to with where Tyrion and Varys are headed essentially in this episode as well, right? So like it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to see like people are trying to like align themselves with different people that they feel like they need to follow in order to succeed in seeing somebody on the Iron Throne at this point, right? And you're seeing everybody go all over the place again, right? So
we'll get into it as we discuss this thing, but I feel like secrets that have been kept hidden for 5 seasons are now like being revealed, and all the like backstories to certain events, and the truth is finally starting to.
Hey, this is where Varys and like Baelish should like shine, right? Because they know everybody's fucking past. That's what I feel like, right? They know everything about anything. Yeah,
it's coming in handy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that have to agree with each other right now, right? Which is,
some
like,
pretty good lines too.
Yeah, but we won't be doing any quotables here today, Jay. I know you want to see a return to the quotables just because the sake of time with guests. I don't know if Christina, if you've seen it, but since you've you last been on the show, we've introduced me and Jay sometimes trade quotes to one another, like acting out as two characters from the show. Like we actually
Oh, that's so cool.
lines and we reenact some moments that we enjoy, right? I know there's some great Tyrion Varys stuff in here. I would have liked to do this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There was. I mean, you can get into it. You can still throw out the quotes if you got them there, but we won't be doing that today, just because again, like with the guests, for the sake of time, we're not going to sit here and reenact fucking full scenes. I think it works well when it's just, you know what I mean, like we're just fucking around.
They're fucking dressing up now. That's what I'm feeling like. Hey,
I'll get one ready for the next time Christina's on. Hopefully this won't be the last for sure, right?
No, definitely not.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it then. Without further ado, I like the episode too.
it's like, yeah, I like.
Oh yeah, sorry,
I forgot
Nico.
about
We didn't
me.
ask you as the Meister. We should have had more respect.
No. I enjoyed it. Like you said, I'm very interested. I kind of just want to jump ahead in some of these events so that they're already starting off with in here, knowing what's to come with certain storylines, right? So that's the only thing that's me about this right now. It's just like, oh yeah, like it's bringing back some stuff into my memory. Some of these places where these people are currently, right? So I'm looking very much.
Unfortunately, Google's bringing them to me that I have never even seen them. I've had to block them every freaking time.
No, you can block that. You can block.
Yeah, I did. It was, that one was part of this episode. That one I sent you with the fucking skull or whatever that was burnt, and that was in this episode coming up. I didn't know that until I watched it.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into it. So the episode opens up, which I made a note of it here. This might be the first flashback that we've seen in this series so far. I don't know if we've ever did any flashbacks before. I know they've talked about Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think this is the first time they've actually done like an actual. They've talked about things that have happened in the past a lot on this show, but I don't think they've actually ever depicted it where they're like, this is
reenacted it.
Yeah. I don't know if they've. Unless I'm forgetting, I think this might be actually.
Well, you know what? I think you're right, because all I keep thinking of is like maybe like if Bran was having like a moment as a, but he hasn't. Like it's not like that.
Yeah, I think that comes later. Some of what you're referring.
Yeah, you're right. Like, wow, I didn't even. Wow, see,
because when he has a vision,
it's 8 times and you still don't catch it. Like, like you don't even get it.
You're not sitting there and analyzing all the episodes, kind of.
I guess so, but like I am now. Like, hello.
Sure.
I'm looking up fun facts.
I think this is the first time. I think this is the first time that they've done that an actual, because it starts off with about 25 years ago. Flashback, like a prologue almost, in the Westerlands is what it says here. And
I didn't even know who it was. Yeah, at first. Yeah, I didn't even know who it was at first.
A young Cersei Lannister here in this scene, right? And Melara Heatherspoon are creeping through the woods when they reach a hut which belongs to, of course, our esteemed guest here today, Witch in the Woods, a woods witch named Maggie. Unafraid, Cersei demands to have her future read. She threatens to have her eyes gouged out if she won't do it, and the witch agrees. She says she will need a drop of Cersei's blood, so Cersei pricks her finger on a dagger. Maggie tastes her blood and offers the young girls 3 questions. Cersei's first question was if she will marry the prince. Maggie says she will not marry the prince, though she will marry the king and become queen. She then asks if she and the king will have children, and Maggie tells her that the king will have 20 children, but she will only have 3. Gold will be their crowns, and gold their burial shrouds, indicating that all 3 will predecease their mother. Finally, she tells Cersei that her reign will not last. She will be queen, but eventually a younger, more beautiful queen is fated to take her place, along with everything she holds dear. Some of this has already come to pass, right? That we're kind of actually seeing in the show so far, right? She's already lost a kid, right? She's worried about the next one coming up, right? Yeah, we've already kind of, and she did only have those children. Obviously, I guess Robert had a bunch of illegitimate children, which we already have found out now, right? Like bastard sons.
I was gonna say, was it Robert they're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I know the wife.
They slaughtered a bunch of them, though. Remember when they were trying to find out who? Because they knew that they would go to one of them over, the Lannister kids, right? Like essentially, right?
Yeah. It's the 3 burial ground or whatever that fucked me up, right? Because the rest of them were just killed, right? Like slaughtered, like you said. That's what threw me off. I forgot about the slaughtering.
Yeah, they
The
never
bastards.
specified before how many children like Robert has. Like I don't think in a specific number, but
No.
they do know that like what his or the Baratheon line, like there
Mhm.
are certain genetic traits with these children that like they have dark hair, right? For one, like the Baratheons always have dark hair. Anyways, yeah, so
Yeah, that's
it's
so
just a number like they just threw out, I guess.
their traits, yeah. It's
So
just funny to have traits like that.
I guess this could be foreshadowing if you want to believe that this is actually all going to come to pass, that she is going to lose all of her children, according to this woman. And, a more beautiful queen will take her place, which I guess maybe you can guess maybe she's speaking about Marjorie, right? I don't know. Right. I mean, like there's that whole thing with Marjorie still being in play here, but we don't know whether or not that's going to happen, right? Like, I guess, very interesting, though. I actually had forgotten about this, and that's kind of interesting. It kind of explains maybe some of the characters' motivation, Cersei, now, seeing that these things are happening somewhat in real time. You know what I mean? Kind of remembering that this witch had given her this fortune all those years ago, right? So, yeah, very interesting. I don't know whether or not, I guess we'll see, right, what happens here.
Yeah, I think, and this was a great like flashback because it did play in so well to how she's conducts herself in the next scene. But then also like how she conducts herself moving forward in this episode and onward. Because it does serve as a reminder to her, like, you were told this fortune and slowly like it seems to be happening or whatever. So
Yeah.
the
I'd be freaked out. I mean, if I were her, right? That's what I mean. I think, and it's interesting, like she's never actually voiced this to anybody on the show, right? This is just something that she experienced that we don't really even know about the character up till now, right? So that's also interesting, right? So,
but of course it would be Cersei that would go to a fortune teller. Like, of course. Like who, let's find the one fortune teller in the entire continent.
World.
Yeah. And yeah,
Probably.
of course it's gonna be her because she's so like power hungry or
yeah, exactly.
Anyways.
Right. But yeah, speaking of Cersei, in the present, she arrives at the Great Sept of Baelor to pay respect to her deceased father Tywin. Once inside, she gives her brother Jaime shit for freeing their brother Tyrion and indirectly causing their father's death. And she really fucking lays into him in this scene about this, kind of playing up the part, it seems like, that she normally does. Like she's trying to, I think, guilt him to manipulate him in a way, right? I mean, if like in a sense, I think she's I don't know, she just seems very bullshitty to me in this moment, even though she's obviously mourning her father. But she's better off with him dead, and I think she's realizing that very soon, like very quickly. And so I don't know. It's hard to believe whether or not, like, I think she just likes to belittle Jaime in order to easily manipulate him personally. I think that's just her bag, right? I don't know. It's interesting.
Jay, do you have thoughts?
She's always, I feel like that's what she does. She's just that's the only thing she's good at is manipulation. So she's trying the best she can in that sense, right?
Do you think differently, Christina?
I don't disagree, but I think she's like truly hurt because like as much as she was as much as like she didn't agree with her father's like what he was doing to her and what he was planning for her and whatever, like she is a true Lannister like through and through. I think she's more Lannister, and I think that's goes back to what she said to him, like, you've always had me, I've always been here, I've always carried out what's best for the family, and like you've never given me the recognition that you would your sons. And I think she's devastated, and she's always had a hate on for Tyrion, so I think this just like goes further into it. I don't think this is like a manipulation thing, but I think she's thinking about everything, that she's encountered in her life, but thinking toward the future. She knows like Jaime is freaking out at this point in this scene because he's like, we can't let the other lords see how weak we are because then they will take over. The Lannisters have always been one of the more powerful families in Westeros. So now that their most powerful leader is gone, they're vulnerable. And I think Cersei is worried about that, but she's more concerned about keeping the family. I don't know. Like, I don't get the manipulation factor in here. I think she's just mourning. She's pissed, and she's trying to.
That's right.
I don't
I was
necessarily
lost there. Yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree with anything you're saying as well, though. That's the thing. But I also think, I don't know, maybe that's me just thinking ahead of what, maybe I'm kind of taking the fact that I kind of know Cersei, that this character, I feel like at this point, having watched the show, maybe that's why I'm kind of taking that into account. But I also feel like, yeah, you're right, though. There is that whole moment where Jaime tries to convince her, like, our enemies are right outside these doors right now. Like, we shouldn't be. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because she's getting on his case about all this, and he's like, yeah, whatever, fucking Tyrion's gone now. Like, don't worry about him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, we got to worry about what the fuck's going on outside her front door, right? Like, that's so like, yeah, no, that was a good moment with Jaime and her. But yeah, so you seriously think she's really just focused on the task at hand right now? Like, kind of.
I think so. I think she's too afraid, and I don't know, maybe for the time, like,
no, like
women. The opinion of women was never regarded as anything, right? So she's, I guess, yeah, she's trying to assert some type of power because she realizes there is no power. Like her father, like their father was kind of taking over the king role as Tommen grew into it, and now there is no king role.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Tommen is still a child, and Tywin is gone, and Tyrion killed him.
Right.
Like,
I
Jaime.
still I'll think it's got to do with some vicious, because she's always had that hate towards him, and she's still, like you said, she's mourning still her son too, right? So I think it's all just still, and then she wants to take it out and show the power that she can do it on probably the most littlest guy in the world right now, but not in the world, but you know what I'm saying, in the in that area right now for now. She's hated him since the mother died too, right?
Yeah, the whole thing.
You know what I mean? So,
anyways, but
I think he did a good thing still for doing it.
Right. So speaking of Tyrion, in this next scene, he arrives in Pentos with the aid of Varys, who lets him out of a crate he'd been hiding in for the entire journey. Varys tells Tyrion that he and Illyrio Mopatis had worked together in secret to restore the House of Targaryen through the rule of Westeros, but that their errors have left them in Pentos, unable to return to King's Landing. Some great quotes here, especially about the whole pushing the shit through the hole of the crate.
Dude, that killed me. Because you don't know what it's like pushing it out of the hole in the crate.
He's like, yeah, I only know what it's like throwing it off the side of the boat or whatever he says, because he's like, you think I didn't have to fucking cover for you throwing shit outside your crate?
It's so gross. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys caught it. I did. Maybe this is me just being like a super freak. But if you actually look at the crate and you look at the holes, you can see the shit marks.
Yeah.
I missed that. Let
me see.
Yeah, it's really gross.
But I will say he is dirty as fuck when he comes out of that crate. I was going to pose this question to you guys. How long do you think he was in there? Because I don't think they say it. But like, how long was he in there for? Like, honestly, like weeks probably, right? Weeks.
A month. I'm going to say
at least minimum. I was going to say, I was trying to watch where they had to travel from, because if you remember where they travel, if you watch the beginning, so in the next episode, I ended up watching the beginning
all the way to Pentos. It shows you, was it across the map?
Dude, yeah. If you got, and you got to take, and they're on the water too, so they're going further.
Well, it's easily a month. Easily,
bro.
At least.
Yeah. That's
because that's the first time I actually like really watched where they were building stuff. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know why the second one, because I wanted to see how long it took them.
Where is he? I loved how he went for the wine right away after he got out of the fucking crate. But he also alludes to the fact that he had wine inside the crate as well at some point, right?
He's been drinking wine the whole time, right, bro?
He's fucking drunk. Disgusting though when he comes out of that crate. Yeah, that was brutal. But I mean, I got to give it up for Varys.
Yeah, I got a picture here, but you can only see the inside in the dark corner of it. You can't see the outside.
Because like, even if Varys is playing some sort of long game for what he actually wants out of the situation that's unbeknownst to us, he literally threw everything that he had built up for himself in King's Landing away to put his trust in this guy that is going to supposedly help him You know what I mean? With whatever situation they end up in next, he has faith in it. Like after everything where you're like, I don't know, Varys is his friend, but then he kind of didn't stick up for him in the trial, and then you're like, I don't know, like, and then now he has no choice. He's with them, right? Like that's what I think is very interesting about this whole relationship now, right? I mean, sure, he could find a better situation for himself and fucking leave Tyrion behind if he really wanted to, I guess, right? He can handle himself, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I like this pairing, Varys and Tyrion being back together again.
It's a real respect dynamic there.
Yeah.
Well, we got a little sample of it when he was in the hand. He was the hand for a little bit there, right?
Yeah.
And now we kind of, which is what, season 2, right? So you're getting them back together again here 3 seasons later. So it's good. So yeah.
He just pukes as soon as he drinks that first glass of wine, dude. That was the best. It just all comes out.
And he just washes it back down with another swig.
That's it.
I also like the POV, like the point of view from Tyrion's, like the hole in the crate before, like when it's getting actually taken down off of the boat, and like he has to open it up. Varys, and he's just like,
he fit pretty well, and that's good to say. Like he didn't have to be crumpled up, and his knees were hurting and stuff. He didn't even have to stretch, man. He was good. Yeah. So I didn't even see him stretch when he got out. You were trying.
He did. He does do a little stretch, but he's little, so it's just a little stretch.
Okay.
So next up, we got the Unsullied topple the large golden harpy from the top of the Great Pyramid in Meereen. Show the Meereenese people that they are under Targaryen rule now, and their old traditions are gone. One of the Unsullied, White Rat, is seen walking into a brothel and pays a prostitute to lie with him and comfort him. While he lies in bed, his throat is slashed by a member of the Sons of the Harpy, a resistance group operating in Meereen.
That's somebody that we never heard of yet, have we?
Yeah, this is new. I gotta say, I didn't remember all this. I'm actually glad that she actually has run into some trials and tribulations, because in my mind, she had no fucking problem becoming who she was up to this point. So I'm kind of glad that she started off in a really bad place. Don't get me wrong. She started off in a really bad place. But lately, it seems like everything's coming easy to her, and she's like, "I've solved slavery." Like, oh, okay. I mean, now I like.
It's like this white savior complex. Like, I have saved you.
I've saved. Yeah, I've figured out racism, guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, really, like, so, like, for a while there, it seemed like that, and then now it's like, yeah, everything that you do now has its own repercussions, which I kind of am enjoying, because in my mind, I don't feel like she had that big of an issue with everything. And revisiting the show now, I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, she did have a lot of other shit that happened prior to, whatever. So yeah, really interesting stuff. I kind of like this storyline right now, like quite a bit, actually, the Meereen stuff.
Yeah, especially when it goes into the next one.
Yeah. Upon being presented with the murderer's mask left at the scene, Daenerys orders Grey Worm to find those responsible and for the murdered soldier to be buried in the Temple of the Graces as a statement. Any other comments on this?
It's a statement. No. No.
Jon Snow in this next scene is training Ollie when he is interrupted by Melisandre, who has been sent to grab Jon to speak to Stannis. Stannis explains, now that I guess Stannis is with them at the end of the last season, where we've seen him kind of run up on Mance. Stannis explains that he intends to retake the north from Lord Roose Bolton, but needs an army and desires the free folk to fight for him. He wants Jon to convince Mance Rayder to bend the knee and have the wildlings fight for him. In exchange, he would set them free and give them their own land within Westeros. Interesting proposition he makes to him here, right? So, but he even states here,
yeah, but then he says, "You have until the sun goes down."
Yeah.
Like, really?
Jon tells it straight up right away. He's like, "Yeah, that's not gonna happen, but I'll do it. Like, I'll ask him, but I don't think he's gonna go for it." Right? He tells him straight up. So, yeah.
It's kind of like when you're a kid and like your friends like, oh, ask your parents, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay, maybe. It's like, I don't know, like, I don't think they're gonna say yes. Like,
I just love like John always gets in between all this shit, right? He's always being led around by the nose. It seems like, all right, John, go over here now, deal with this, and come back, and then we'll, it seems like that's always the case with John still, right? He's always just trying to do right by folks, but then as a result, he's kind of doing these side quests like like in an RPG game or something. Go help this person now, right? He goes, all right, I'm back. All right, now go help this person over here. Yeah, I feel that's the case.
Like the little bitch right now, for
Well,
since he got caught, right?
Like, he's so honest, so I think people respect that. Like, he's just so honest and he's so true to himself. Like,
I think it's more that
he's just like they trust. No, but I think they trust him. Like, everybody trusts him because he hasn't given them a reason not to. Like, he's just like, this is just the truth, and this is just, I'm like, whatever it is. So I don't know. He hasn't made an enemy yet. So like,
yeah, he's not a stand-up guy. And
he had a stand-up father until he was about a head shorter.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you're learning. See, you're learning now. That is Game of Thrones.
So
yeah, you're
it's
learning.
the truth. I mean,
it doesn't always bode well for you, right?
Yeah, it's Stark blood.
So then Littlefinger and Sansa watch over Lord Robin Arryn struggles while sparring with another young boy. What a little bitch. while watching Robin spar, Sansa witnesses. Yeah. He's so shit. I know, it's terrible. The line of the episode coming up here, though, guys. While watching Robin spar, Sansa witnesses Baelish receive a message, which he reads, then hides in a sleeve. Lord Jon Royce has agreed to take Robin as his ward and train him to fight, but is not optimistic of his abilities, stating he swings a sword like a girl with palsy.
Not funny, not disrespectful to people,
yeah.
But
I'm surprised they knew what that was back then.
Yeah, I guess good point. That's a good point. I mean, they
didn't even know little people were, right? Like,
it's just
really, they thought they were they thought they were like a monster.
But yes, I did find it funny. But yes, I don't want to make fun of obviously people with
obviously, that's why I thought about it. I was like, you know what? It is funny. It's a perfect line. And maybe 20 years ago, it would have suited it. It might have fit in there a little better.
I think he's just trying to say he can't swing a sword for his life. His life depended on it, right? So
no,
but I can picture it in my head, bro. That's the sad part, dude. I can picture it in my head, bro. Sorry, it's bad. Yeah,
I know you're trouble if he's supposed to be his ward there, whatever the hell he's supposed to be. Yeah. Podrick in this next scene attempts to plan the next move for him and Brienne, but Brienne tells him that she doesn't want anyone following her. He reminds her of the oath she swore to Jaime to find the Stark girls, but she states that Arya did not want her protection. Brienne also points out that Podrick was not safe in King's Landing, and now that they are far away from the capital, he is safe and they can go their separate ways. Littlefinger and Sansa's carriage passes them, Brienne unaware of how close her goal is. So yeah, I mean,
that was just a quick one, eh?
Yeah,
just to have a little talk. But I'm surprised too that Arya doesn't want to go. Like, no, I mean, they don't really know her, right? So
no, and they're all like, they're all freaked out. Like, she was freaked out. Like, who do I trust, kind of thing, right? No, but yeah, Brienne says like a really cool line in the scene. What was it? It was like, yeah, I don't want anyone following me. I'm not a leader. All I ever wanted was to fight for a lord I believed in, but the good lords are dead and the rest are monsters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
War's coming.
Yeah, this is another pairing I quite like quite a bit, and I do like this character a lot as well, like Rand. So like, I really like the stuff with her in the next episode too. We're going to be talking about. So yeah, but this one, yeah, you're right. This was a little bit of a quick setup of things to come, I think, in this episode. But I mean, we're just seeing them. We're picking back up off with them after that crazy fucking fight that she just had with the Hound previous to this at the end of the last season, right? Which is honestly, yeah, that I had
Yeah,
said
his
that we
ass.
talked about that episode, with the whole episode being taking place with the battle on the wall with the wildlings. That one fight, I feel like in the next episode, the season finale, was better than all the fights in that episode, in my opinion. That hound fight was awesome when they just start like with the bare glove, like, you know what I mean, just fucking punching the shit out of each other. Bare knuckle boxing. Yeah, that was awesome.
She's tough. She's a tough bitch.
Yeah,
Like,
she is. She's
you
so
know,
down. She's really she's awesome.
yeah. But we'll see what happens for her and Pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we're back over with Baelish. He told Lord, even though he told Lord Royce that he and Sansa would be traveling to the Fingers, they instead head west. Sansa asks if they have anything to fear from Lord Yon. He explains that he doesn't trust the retainers and soldiers who saw them, and is taking Sansa somewhere the Lannisters will never find her. Yeah, not much. I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't.
You guys are laughing because you guys know where it's going on. That's why I'm just like looking at him going, okay, let's see what's happening. I know you guys, it's kind of hard. Sometimes the way you guys act, it's like, I could read you like a book, man. Seriously.
I'm not saying anything. I want
I know
to.
you're not. You're not saying it with your eyes. No.
Right. Then we're back over at the start of Tywin's wake here in this next scene, which is one of my favorite scenes here. Cersei is approached by Lancel Lannister in this scene. We haven't seen him in a bit, right? He has become a devout member of the Sparrows, a religious cult, and asks Cersei's forgiveness for their adulterous relationship, as well as getting her husband, Robert Baratheon, obscenely drunk on the day he died. Cersei mocks Lancel, denies any knowledge of her husband's murder, and shrugs him off. So a couple of points I have here before I open it up to you guys here. That this is a good scene. I really liked Loras when he's talking to her at the start of this scene at his wake, just basically like bullshitting her, and he keeps repeating about Tywin, how great of a man he was, and he keeps repeating, "What a force to be reckoned with! What a force to be reckoned with!" I really like that, and she's just like, "Yeah, whatever." Her in this scene, masterclass acting. Like, she's just, because she spots what's his name across the way here, Lancel at this moment, right? I think this is when she spots Lancel originally, and she's like, "Is that Lancel?" Because he looks different now, right? It is like,
yeah, he's got a shaved head and he's wearing like shrouds, and
right, he looks like a monk or something now, right?
Yeah, like, where's his long, luscious, blonde, crispy locks? They
So
look like ramen noodles, like in like season 1.
That's
Like, you know?
that's good, actually. Yeah, they did. But yeah, she sees him across the way, and this guy's like blabbering on, and obviously he's just trying to, keep whatever hopes are afloat that he's actually going to marry her, right? Oh yeah, Tywin, what a respectable man you was. What a force to be reckoned. She's like, yes, yeah, thank you. Like, and then as she's going to walk towards, follow Lancel as he kind of skirts away, fucking Pycelle once again goes up to her, trying to give her her regards, and like always, she just treats him like shit and ignores him. Walks right past him. Pycelle's like, "Oh, my regards to your father," and she just fucking flies right past him.
Whatever, old man.
She's in her own world, man.
I just wanted to mention that. I just loved her acting in this scene, how the contempt that she has for other people. Like, she plays it so well. Like, she's just like, I fucking hate these people. Like,
and that she does the look on her face, man, says it all, dude.
Yeah.
Like, she's got a miserable bitch look all day long.
What'd you think of this one, Christina? This scene?
Yeah, the whole scene I think was pretty cool, and like I said earlier, the secret of Cersei having something to do with Robert's death, asking Lancel to, again, you guys were talking about her being manipulative and whatever, and so she asked him to get him super drunk so that he would screw up and maybe fall off the horse, or maybe get run over, or attacked by the boar, or speared or something.
Yeah.
So that was, and she, she's playing it off because she can't admit to that, and all of that. But that was interesting because I forgot that was brought up in this scene.
Yeah.
But Lancel's only saying it because he's like, "Oh, I've been redeemed of my sins." by joining like the Sparrows. Like,
yeah, and something we really haven't revisited or touched on since the first season, right? Some of the things that he's talking about, right? Or we haven't seen him. And then also, like, I think it's interesting because they kind of plant the seed. I think maybe not for the first, well, maybe the first time they're really talking about religions here, like kind of like as in like, you know, they calling them fanatics and, you know, cults and things like that. Like, I guess now you're actually, you know, you're seeing somebody who's now converted over to a religion that we really haven't actually seen so far in this show, right? So it's kind of interesting that this is maybe the first mention of that, right, in this episode.
Different bird. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're all different birds.
Did they talk about this at all before? I don't know if this wasn't the first mention, but like I think like this is the first time we like is Varys like following religion because he kind of looks
he doesn't. But remember, this is not the first time because she meets Qyburn when he's like feeding the poor, and he mentions being not a High Sparrow, but he mentions being part of like some religious like something, but it's not a main storyline, and it's like that's how he gets brought into the fold or the story or whatever. Right. But I think this scene is actually also really pivotal for her next scene, and again moving forward, like the flashback, like Tywin's death, like all of it. This is another showing Cersei's vulnerability, because now it's like there's always a question of, you know, the legitimacy of her children, right? Her relationship with Jaime, but because she opened herself up and had relations with her cousin, and he's now confessed, or now, you know, chosen this path of righteousness, or, you know, confession, she's now open to criticism, and, you know, she can be put on trial for the murder of her husband, the king, and adultery and incest and all of this. So I think this is just, you know, she's already so paranoid about everyone and everything, and what am I going to do next? And then she has this conversation, and I think it's just like, you could see, like, I mean, she's scoffing because she's not very a religious person. She's like Tywin was not very kind of
like in her head right now about
right her. So I think she's like really like vulnerable, and this was like a perfectly placed scene for this.
Well, no, very true, yeah, that is very true. That is a good point about that. Jay,
I'd have to keep myself, I don't know, I didn't understand, like I thought I heard the sparrows and shit before, but I didn't remember it, so kind of just went over my head.
We have. I didn't remember, but I guess
I'm just listening to you guys because I didn't know that. Because I wrote it down, but I don't know what the heck it was. Right? I even wrote it wasn't mentioned because I couldn't remember that far back.
Right.
So
so the next scene here, while in bed together, Loras and a male prostitute, all of our.
This was my favorite scene. We should have reenacted this.
Contemplate a birthmark on Loras's thigh, which looks a little like Dorne. When Marjorie walks in on them, kind of like a what do you call it, Armageddon type moment with the with the animal cracker. Remember in Armageddon where he's playing with the animal crackers?
Bro, I haven't watched Armageddon since like '99.
Sure have I, but that's one of the like I think well-known scenes, like their lovey-dovey kind of like scenes.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, because it's what's her face?
Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler, yeah.
And is it like, Ben Affleck?
Right. Affleck, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I totally forgot about that. All I remember is like she's talking to them like on the screen, and they're blowing up or gonna blow up or something, and
yeah, there's this whole
Aerosmith is playing or something, and I'm just like crying. I'm like 10. I don't understand what's happening, but I'm crying. Like I don't know.
Remember that?
Yeah, that's all I remember.
Easy ass moment before he goes up into space, that it's like they're sitting like post-coital, and he's playing with an animal cracker or something on her like stomach, like she's like, you know what I mean, like she's like half nude, and for whatever
so you get to see her stomach. It's like, yeah, it's almost right to her boob.
Yeah, that's what this scene reminded me of course, when he's like observing the tattoos.
Thank God there was no frontal,
or whatever. Not tattoos, the birthmark. Then Marjorie walks in on them and complains about his lack of discretion and sends Oliver away. Loras says that he doesn't care anymore about being discreet since everyone knows the rumors of him are true already anyways. And now that Tywin is dead, no one will force Cersei to marry him anymore. He points out how this will leave Cersei in King's Landing free to harass Marjorie as her mother by marriage. Marjorie simply replies with, perhaps. Thoughts, guys? What is she getting at here? Perhaps what she has other plans for this situation or what? What's
Marjorie's
Revenge? I
very
don't know.
cunning.
very cunning, eh? What'd you
She
think?
has that look. Yeah, she has that look of evil too, kind of like a Cersei look. She can pull it off, but then she can bring out the nicer look, instead. This is where it doesn't work so much with Cersei.
I actually
right?
wouldn't mind getting some more of Marjorie because, like, I feel like we haven't seen
Me
much of
either.
her really. Yeah, well, that too. But yeah, no, I set him up for that one. I was waiting for it, but no, but seriously,
You're a
like,
good wingman.
yeah, seriously though, I feel like we haven't got too many scenes with her past the death of Joffrey up to this point, right? Like we didn't see her at the end of the last season past the Joffrey death at all, other than that one scene with her and her grandmother basically.
And Sir Pounce.
Oh
when
yeah,
she goes to Tommen.
Yeah,
How did you forget about Sir Pounce, the cat?
Yeah, where she's planting that seed already with him, trying to seduce him.
Well, he's a 12-year-old boy. I don't think it's very hard. I mean, look at Jay. He's like, how old are you?
Very hard at 12 years old. It's very hard. Trust me.
The actress
I couldn't sleep that night.
The actress that plays Marjorie is quite fetching. Say the least.
Quite fetching.
Quite fetching. There you go.
The woman in her presence, Jay. Come on, class it up. Quite fetching.
Well, you know what? I like that one. I got to use that one more often. These women are quite fetching.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right coming from me, man.
No, it sounds perverted when you say it.
Yeah, it does.
So I guess we'll see what ends up happening with that, guys. Stay tuned. Tyrion has descended into bitterness and self-loathing, seemingly determined
what else is new?
To drink himself to death. But
what else is new?
Yeah, but Varys angrily snaps him out of his self-pity, telling Tyrion that he still has talents that may yet be of use. Talents that he could use to seat the right candidate on the Iron Throne. Varys mentions how Westeros is on the brink of ruin and that the Seven Kingdoms require a ruler, one stronger than Tommen, yet gentler than Stannis. Loved by the people, able to please the common folk and keep the nobility in line. When Tyrion states that such a man does not exist, Varys points out that he never said this ruler would be a man. Varys offers Tyrion the choice of either drinking himself to death in Pentos or traveling with him to Meereen to meet and negotiate with Daenerys Targaryen. After a moment, Tyrion agrees. So
he actually gets thrown off because they say they're going somewhere else first. But he goes, "Weren't we going to Meereen?" And he's like, "Yeah, where are we finding there?" And he says, "The road to Meereen, right?"
Oh, they were on their way to Volantis.
Yeah, because that's, I guess, how they get there with the boat, right? Well, that's how they got. No, they're in the. They're actually in the carriage right now. Yeah,
like they're in this separate continent, but like how there's like different areas of
the road,
Westeros.
Yeah, the road leads there. I think.
But I think doesn't he mention he has to stop somewhere first?
That's what I said. Yeah, in Volantis.
Yeah.
He's like, why? And then he says, yeah, he had to stop there. That's all I remember him saying.
Yeah.
He just keeps wanting to go for a walk. Poor guy.
Yeah, he wants to get out of the.
He's in a box again.
No, it's not this scene. That's afterwards. I think that's next episode when they're in the horse and buggy. You're right. They do end up in a horse and buggy. I don't think that was this scene. I think this is when he's kind of still walking around. I think at this point in time.
No, they are in the buggy in this one.
In this scene, they are. Right?
Yes, yes, they are.
My bad. Okay, so
yeah. No, because Varys is complaining. He's like, can't you just are you? What does he say? He says something like, "Are you trying to make the rest of this trip miserable? Like you just can't just relax and sit down and."
Okay, so there's still
a
horse and buggy in the next episode then, because that's when the whole scene happens with the thing with him telling him to hide because they're chopping off all the dwarfs' heads around the land, which happens in the horse and buggy, right?
That's in the next. That's in the next episode.
Yeah. Okay.
They talk about that because you start seeing it.
Oh no! You know what? You're right. They're not, because they have this when Varys brings up the. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. When Varys brings up the description of who the next ruler should be, they're standing and they're at a stone wall and they're looking over the. No, you're right. No, they are not in the buggy at this point.
The
Oh yeah, they're here. This is where they are.
Episode, they're in the buggy. Yeah, this is where they're kind of still walking out and about. I think because he hasn't actually quite convinced them yet. Then when they get in the buggy, that's when they're on their way. Yeah.
Yes.
Around here, where he's having a serious talk with him. Yeah,
there it is.
He looks like he's had a little bit of a bath, changed his clothing,
just cleaned up, taking his shit off. Yeah,
got the JT beard going.
So what, bro? I was like, this guy. It's been a while. He's been in there at least a couple weeks because that's a decent beard for, you know what I mean. Even we know it's television, right? But still, he had to grow a beard.
So fuck yeah, these two are heading to Daenerys. Very interesting stuff. He agrees.
But see, he doesn't even know that. Yeah, he really doesn't, right?
Tyrion.
Yeah.
That's when the Varys tells him in this scene.
He tells him does he say that he's telling him? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I just
he tells him that we're going.
Why don't you meet the mother of dragons and then decide for yourself? If you want to just stay here and drink yourself to death or make a difference in the world. Basically,
it says, "Wait, can I ask? Can I drink myself to death on the way there?" That's what he said. Yeah, because I have it here. I have it. I just I read it so fast because I'm trying to watch at the same time, and I fucking still, because I want to keep it in line, right? Read it with it.
This next scene, you got I can't even say this guy's name, but Hizdar Zolorak and Dario Naharis return to Meereen and declare that their mission to Yunkai has been successful, and that the Wise Masters will turn over power to a council of former slaves and former slave owners. In exchange, the Wise Masters have asked that Daenerys consent to the reopening of the fighting pits, an arena where slaves used to fight to the death. He denies this request, and later, I guess post-coital with Dario there, she convinces her to reconsider, as his youth fighting in the pits gave him the fighting skills necessary for him to join the Second Sons, where he met Daenerys. Upon hearing that Drogon hasn't been seen in weeks, Dario teases her of the irony of a dragon queen with no dragons. I like this scene because she kind of has her I just had sex hair actually down in this scene, which is kind of like you said.
She wasn't naked.
No, but she's always commanding respect, obviously, because of her position, and to like what Christina had said in past episodes about how it's always up and in certain ways, in certain fashions, like with all the braids and stuff like that, because of there's always some significance to it. I feel like we haven't really seen her with sex hair like this before.
No. Right? We haven't seen her without braids in her hair, which signify how many wars and fights, battles she's conquered, and we haven't seen her without it since we first saw her in season 1 when she was this innocent little, weak little thing.
That's why it stood out to me, because you had mentioned that before. And then when I seen her in this scene, I'm like, oh, she seemed like, this pillow talk that she's having with him here. She actually is seemingly speaking down to earth with somebody in a vulnerable state for once, right? Which is very interesting that we don't see it from her very often, right? So,
well, they do say that if you in your day-to-day life command attention and respect, it's usually the opposite in the bedroom.
True.
So if she Jay's eyebrows just bing. Yeah, especially as women
sits.
Well,
she's got her hair up. Look, how many curls does that have? Of how many battles you've won against him? Let's see.
It did signify a lot. I think, just a small detail like that, right?
Yeah. Sorry, too, man. You set it up too. They didn't even know.
It's true, but you know what? We're talking about the scene.
Yeah, keep it to the scene here, Jay.
I am
talking about the scene.
Later,
just relating it how it is in real life too.
Later, Daenerys attempts to visit Viserion and Rhaegal. Is that how you say his name?
Rhaegal and Viserion, yeah.
Whom she locked underground in the Meereenese catacombs to prevent them from killing innocents or fleeing. Both of which Drogon did, but when she approaches them, they attempt to attack her, forcing her to quickly escape the room. They're pissed off, these dragons out her, she's losing. Yeah, of course, she put a fucking chain around them like that. Those dragons were not happy when she did that. They were whimpering.
Have you seen a chained up dog? Exactly. What do you think's gonna happen? You chain up a freaking dragon and they keep it underground in a cave.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah,
I get it, but at the same time, it's no, you gotta figure
it out.
Let him out.
Yeah, because there's something going on. I haven't. That's you don't see them much, man. That's the thing, right? So you.
Is this the first time she mentions the dragons by name?
I mean, they've mentioned Drogon or whatever his name is there previously, obviously because of the things that he was doing. I mean, she must have mentioned them before this, but this is one of the times I actually, I can actually recall that
Right.
because I don't think they've really focused on those other dragons really at all by name, but except for Drogon because of the shit that he was up to when he was like, eating, burning the kid.
When he burnt the sheeps and the kid and all of that. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe. I mean, it may have been mentioned in passing, but I think this is the most that you got with her, at least with
actually saying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you guys, or I don't know, Jay, if you know, but she named the 3 dragons after her and her brothers.
I didn't know it was her brothers, but I know that I thought I had heard them say it in passing in the last one of the other episodes where you seen it before she locked them up. But I could be wrong, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know if she says it, but yeah, she named, so the 3 dragons are named after her and her brothers. Rhaegal, and not Rhaegal.
Dragon.
Well, that's the dragon's name. It is Rhaegal.
Rhaegar, sorry, was her brother.
Right. That's
and Viserys is her other brother that we saw in season 1. So Viserion, and then Drogon is her. That's why he's the number 1 dragon.
One that's stirring it up.
Yeah.
All right. So, but yeah, we get to the final scene here of the episode, which is a good one. Jon relays this message to Mance that he was previously given, but he refuses to bend the knee. Also, again, a lot of mention of the bending of the knee now all of a sudden, which I think becomes more prevalent as the series goes on. Not to spoil too much for you there, Jay, but there's a lot of
playing football in this or what?
I mean, we've always talked about bending the knee, I feel like, throughout this. Yeah. But there's a lot of bend the knee talk coming up. I'll tell you that much right now, Jay. Without spoiling much there's a lot
I feel it.
Talk coming up because they're throwing it around a lot now.
As much as Ygritte says, you know nothing, Jon Snow, they say bend the knee just as much in every episode. So
it becomes pretty ridiculous. There's one person in particular, which I won't say, that it says fucking bend the knee like fucking 1,000 times later on in the series. So it'll be very interesting once you get to that. But yes,
was one of those guys in my favorite scene.
No,
you have to just watch and find out.
Yeah. Basically, he says to do so would be to show unforgivable weakness in the eyes of his people because he will not fight for Stannis. His punishment is death by being burned alive. I gotta say, I respect Mance's stance on things in this moment. Like, as much as I like that he admitted that he was afraid of dying, I like that he admitted, like, you know what I mean? Like, it may not be the right, like, he's like, you don't understand what I've been fighting for clearly this whole time. I cannot surrender to this man, right? It kind of would make everything they've been doing pointless, essentially, right? Like, and there's a great quote in this where Jon, before he leaves, because he doesn't want to see him die, obviously, he's like, I think you're making a mistake. And he's like, the freedoms to make my own mistakes is all I've ever wanted. And I was like, that's sick. Like, I was like, what a way to go out for this guy, right?
Like, put it on your chest.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a way to live the life by, bro. The freedoms of your own mistakes, bro.
I had a lot of respect for him. I get where Jon's coming from. I get Jon actually thinks that Stannis should be king, and I get why he doesn't want to see him, surrender. I think deep down he doesn't want him to surrender, but he's like, I just don't want to see you get killed. You know what I mean? Like, I think you should just, align with us essentially, but that's not going to happen, obviously. Like,
he just doesn't want people to see him screaming and stuff either too. He just wants to go out with pride, right?
Yeah.
It sucks, man. Being burned alive. Imagine that.
Fuck.
Yeah, when he was like, I know that was like really, like, you could see the fear in his eyes when he was naming off ways he could possibly die to Jon. Like, what is beheading, hanging, and Jon pauses and he's like, no, you'll be burned alive at the stake. And then Mance had this look on his face, like,
yeah. Well, yeah, because he's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty afraid of this.
Feel that shit, bro.
Yeah, because he's like, he's been the leader of the free folk for so long, and now they're gonna watch me scream. I don't know, God, like, ugh.
Yeah. On the night of his execution, though, Mance stands before Stannis, and although he cannot bend the knee, he offers him luck in the wars to come. Because he mentions, yeah, I used to be part of you, like with you guys, and now I'm not. And yeah, listen, good luck with all that, but I'm not doing it. Like he tells him twice, like, and he doesn't fucking bend the knee, and he's like, all right, so I guess we're just gonna light you on fire then. Mance is led to the stake. Melisandre lights the fire, and Mance slowly begins to feel the agonizing pain of the fire, unable to watch him suffer any longer. Jon pulls a very fucking classy move, and he storms off, and all of a sudden you see an arrow hit him while he's kind of on fire in the flames, killing him within moments, and kind of saving him the pain of being burned alive, essentially, right? He actually makes sure in front of everybody, he pierces his chest.
That was weird, eh? Like he just did that. He was, he might be getting in trouble for this. I don't know, because that doesn't seem like he was supposed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, he definitely wasn't supposed to do that, but at the same, again, this just goes back to like morality, like Jon Snow's morality. Like he just had this conversation about this man who just said, I'm afraid of dying, like, and I don't want this. And so he's just, I'm compelled. It's like kind of somebody, you telling somebody your last wishes, right? It's like that person is almost compelled, if they have like a strong moral compass, to like fulfill those last wishes for you.
Yeah,
regardless of other people's agendas, right? I don't know. You see this all the time. Not to get into this deep, dark subject, but you see this all the time when people pass, like in life, this life.
Yes.
They have these last final wishes, and you have people that want to fulfill them, and you have others that are just like, F that, like, whatever the reasons are. And, like, it's just what is going to sit well with you for the rest of your life, right? If you have a really strong, and Jon Snow is that person. Like, he just has.
Yeah. I think he wants to do the right thing no matter what.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter.
No matter what the consequences are to him, he has to do the right thing in all, like, in all moments, right? Like whatever he thinks is the right thing, right? But I mean,
He's very kind-hearted. That's why, man.
He's a stand-up dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Now we know why Ygritte fell for him so hard.
Yeah, but I don't know why he fell for her after she shot him with a few arrows, but
because he knows nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he lost. So he's clearly smitten, I guess. But yeah,
he's what we call in these times pussy whipped. No, but yeah, no, he's a good person. That's the problem. I'm keeping it at a short leash because because I don't know when it's over. So I'm keeping that friendship at a short leash, like that relationship between me and Jon Snow. Like I'm the closeness to my heart.
We're gonna continue talking about Jon Snow next episode, though, guys. And yeah, even in this scene, I mean, Gilly and Shireen were trying to like hide from like watching this kind of shit go down with them burning. Shireen's mother, though, was all about it. Like she was like, I know. You seen that, right? I really was.
She's sick. Well, yeah, for someone who keeps like fetuses in fucking jars, like you're a sicko.
Your daughter like hidden away like in a tower or something, right? Yeah, no, it's pretty fucked up. But yeah, so more on that next episode. Christina, once again, thank you for joining us on this one. This was a lot of fun. Any final words, guys? Any final thoughts on this episode, though, before we wrap up?
Great episode.
It was good.
It was a good start off to the season.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, it was just a good one. It's a good setup. It's a good setup episode.
Yeah, a lot to take in, a lot to digest, a lot to see what the fuck's going on for the next one.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I can't wait to see what happens next season. Sure.
DJ, play that song.
Exactly. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. And Christina will also be joining us on the next episode, so make sure to tune in for that. And we'll see you guys then. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.